Imagine waking up one morning and realizing your worst habit has disappeared. No struggle, no willpower war, just gone. Sounds impossible, right? Well, Japan built a system that does exactly that. A system so subtle, so sneaky, that you'll change your entire life without even noticing it's happening. And the craziest part, you've been trying the complete opposite your whole life. Today, you're about to learn the 5 Japanese philosophies that break addictions, destroy bad habits, and rebuild your identity from the inside out. Let's start with the one rule that secretly governs every successful person on the planet. Here's the brutal truth. You don't fail because you're lazy. You don't fail because you're weak. You fail because your brain is designed to resist big changes. Every time you try to quit sugar overnight, delete social media cold turkey, or suddenly become a new person starting Monday, your brain interprets it as a threat. Change to fast, and your brain hits the panic button. That's why you self-sabotage. That's why you relapse. That's why you end up even worse than before. But the Japanese discovered a loophole, a way to sneak past your brain's defenses so it accepts change without resistance. And it begins with the philosophy of Kaizen. First, Kaizen, the 1% rule that rewires your brain. Kaizen says, don't try to be perfect, just try to be 1% better, not 50%, not 20%, just one tiny step. Because psychologically, your brain doesn't notice small change. Small change equals no threat. No threat equals no resistance. No resistance equals flawless progress. Want to exercise? Do 1 push-up, not 10. Want to read more? Read 1 page, not a chapter. It feels useless, but it's the most scientifically effective way to build habits. Your brain says, oh, this is easy. Why not? And once that doorway is open, momentum takes over. This is why Kaizen works when everything else fails. But Kaizen only works if you know why you're changing, and that's where the second philosophy enters. Ikigai, the reason you never stick to change. Ikigai means your purpose, your real reason for improving. If you try to break a habit just because you should, you'll collapse. If you do it because society expects it, you'll quit. But if you connect it to something you deeply desire, your identity transforms. It's not about I want to quit junk food. It becomes I want energy to build the life I dream of. It's not I want to stop procrastinating. But I want to become the person my future self would be proud of. Psychology proves motivation collapses. Identity endures. Ikigai turns your habit from a chore into a mission. But there's a trap coming. A trap almost everyone falls into without realizing it. The fatal mistake. Trying to be perfect. You will stumble. You will fall. You will break the habit at least once. And here's where most people destroy themselves. They think one mistake equals total failure. But the Japanese philosophy of Wabi-Sabi flips this completely. Wabi-Sabi says imperfection is not a flaw. It is part of the beauty of progress. Psychologically, this is massive, because the number one cause of failure is not the mistake itself, it's the emotional spiral afterward. One cookie becomes a cheat day becomes a cheat week becomes giving up entirely. Wabi-Sabi says, "You messed up. Good. Now keep going." A stumble becomes fuel, not shame, not punishment, fuel. But even with Wabi-Sabi, you still need discipline. And here's where the scariest Japanese principle appears. Gambaru, the mindset that makes you unstoppable. To persist even when it's uncomfortable. Every addiction, every bad habit, every battle has a moment where everything inside you screams, "This is too hard." That moment is your turning point. Psychology calls it the resistance barrier. Push past it once, and the habit becomes 10 times easier. Push past it twice, and the old behavior dies. Gambaru isn't about suffering. It's about understanding that discomfort is temporary, but the results are permanent. But even discipline can become toxic if you don't learn the final principle. Hara Hachi Bu, the rule that saves you from self-destruction. This Okinawan principle says to eat until you are 80% full, not stuffed, not starving, just enough. But this isn't really about food. It's about moderation in everything. Work 80%, consume 80%. Push yourself 80%. This prevents burnout, collapse, and addiction to extremes. It keeps you in a balanced state where habits grow naturally. And this balance is the final key to turning all 5 principles into one unstoppable system. Here's the Japanese formula for breaking any addiction or bad habit. First, start tiny with Kaizen. Make your habits so small you can't fail. Second, find your real why with Ikigai. Attach your habit to a purpose. Third, embrace imperfection with Wabi-Sabi. Mistakes don't matter, quitting does. Fourth, push through discomfort with Gambaru. The pain is temporary. The identity is permanent. And fifth, stay balanced with Hara Hachi Bu. Avoid extremes and grow sustainably. Do this and any habit, procrastination, overeating, digital addiction, laziness doesn't stand a chance. You don't force change, you become the change. And the transformation happens silently, sneaking into your mind, until one day you wake up and realize, I'm not the same person anymore. If this awakened something in you, drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your story. And if you want more mind-bending psychology content that rewires your life one video at a time, stick around. There's so much more coming. Thanks for watching.